what about your songs? What about the lyrics? What are they saying to people?
But that's not a necessity. It's a necessity of the moment, what they say, not...
The kids are united.
Yeah,
An anthem, what does it all mean? What are you trying to say?
what was going on out there.
Can I say, I mean, because a lot of times is that people that write songs, they don't actually know what they're saying at all, because they're writing because they feel about something. But something like, I regard Sham 69, I mean, after the Sex Pistols, they're the most important punk band around. Because at the end of the day, you get all these pretensions, all this arty crap, you know what I mean? You know, the bands that they're so-called Britpop thing, they're talking all this flowery stuff about something. I mean, the kids, and there are kids out there that, you know, go and watch house music, they might take a load of ease every night on Saturday. They've just lost direction. And something like Sham 69 Kids United, it still has a lot to say, because the kids are still not united. They're kicking each other's heads in every Saturday night. And if the kids all got together, if like the youth of this country, the people are like, you know, disenfranchised in this country got together and all got together, we could like smash the government, we could really change things. And so a song like that to me is still relevant. It's still relevant because we're still being shat on. We still live this life, we buy their bullshit and all that. We're still being shat on. So, you know, a song like Kids United is still very relevant today, you know, 20 years after it was written.
And it's relevant that if you can get those people that take E to come to a punk gig and feel the same at a punk gig as what they would on E, then it's starting to work, because then they would come out of a drug established posture that we now live in, do you understand? And all, it's like it's been ordained to us that the right drugs come through and the other drugs don't come through. It's like somebody else is in control. It's like the men in grey suits that we get told about that run the government. They're not actually running the government, they're running customs and excise, because there's something going on in this country that's very disturbing. How we can, like, you know, have people arrested immediately for, like, you know, growing a bit of herb in their back garden, and yet somebody that could, like, give us mad cow disease and let us go on and, like, develop it, you know, years on down the road, and, like, not even have a police inquiry into why these people didn't say this at that time or didn't do that, and so on. That we accidentally are still Asian provocateurs of time, do you understand? I don't, and I never necessarily put the band back as a purposeful thing of like, hey, money or this. It's just like him saying about writing a song. Mark was totally, you know, correct in the way that you never set out. It's a bit like going in the betting shop and saying, oh, the lottery, and saying, I'm going to win the lottery. Are you? It's like, I'm going to have a hit. It's exactly the same thing. That is not what the purpose of it is anyway. The purpose of life is that if you understand that it's generally an accident, you don't and shouldn't make plans in the way that you feel that it always should happen. And that's what tonight is. No one in this room expected 20 years later, with the advent of like DJism and no soul attached to making a plastic record and putting it out for people to just go, yeah, that'll do. It's near Christmas. You can play this at Christmas again now.
So is that what punk is, existentialism?
There's no relevance to what punk actually is. For a start, as a word, it just means driftwood, doesn't it? But it's like our attitude, it belongs to us. We don't really give a shit what other people think of us. It's what we have to live with. It's our soul we have to live. I don't have to live with yours or anybody else's in this room. I have to live with my morals to me.
It is akin, like everybody keeps saying, everybody keeps bringing it down to like a spiritual experience, and it is akin to that. It's akin to an awakening. And a lot of people need wakening up to look at the facts.
It's very easy to get 29 people in a room that are all stoned out their head. But put 29 punk rockers in a room and they'd talk themselves to death. Because they've got communication and they've got life in them. They've got something to say, they've got something to feel.
That's why it becomes political in the end. I mean, all the discussion over the past 5 minutes has been quite political in nature.
Punk was always political because it was a real threat. Punk was a real threat. It was the first musical movement in Britain to actually take on, because the Stones sung about like getting sex, you know, the Beatles sung about like drugs and stuff. Punk was the first musical movement to actually sing about actual things like unemployment, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. The government, you know, I mean, the Queen actually sung about those issues. It didn't bullshit, it didn't like make out it was doing it. It actually named the Queen. It named career opportunities. It actually,
and told us the truth.
Directed the influence. Yeah, it tried to tell the truth.
Even when they said, God save the Queen, you have no future, a fascist regime, where's the truth? I see the truth. I see the truth. I see the fascist regime. I see the Queen being made a moron 20 years later of all what gone on. Just like when we sung Ulster Boy. The misconscription of Ulster Boy is so ridiculous. For instance, because we sung Ulster Boy, people believed we meant Ulster was the right, not the wrong of it. Whereas Belfast Boy just didn't, when I was singing it, do you understand, it didn't go to the way I was singing it, I didn't think. Because on the television, when they were putting the news out, they would say, in Ulster today, because it was British television advocating British news. And that's why they would say, Ulster today, in Ulster today. So one day I wrote, Ulster Boy, because it was like, there are no winners, you're all losers. 20 years later, it's exactly the same situation. We've only tried to preach peace right from the word go. But we've also tried to say, as I've said so many times throughout this whole interview, that life is humorous, isn't it, as well? You can't, if you fall down and graze your knee and you don't cry forever because someone points out that it was funny when you fell down and then you start laughing.
So it's ridiculous rather than humorous.
You have to see the ridiculous. And that's why I think Alan Parker is a great parody of me. Because what he does is he plays me in a particular way that he takes all those little bits out that I say, truth, time, and he leaves out all the bits of how I got to say that bit. So that's like what Vic Reeves and that Mortimer guy were trying to achieve with the, you know, oh, you didn't think that would happen, so put the cabbage next to the cup of tea. It's that. That's our punk, that is punk humour, basically. Because it's anarchy, isn't it? It's like trying to make you see from a different angle.
Answer that.
You're responsible for your own actions.
Very existentialist. Is there a word that sums up punk?
We've just said that a million times, but there is not a word that sums up punk. Punk is the word.
So what does punk mean to you?
I've just spent half an hour.
No, in very, very brief words. I mean, it's...
Hello, Nutters.
There it is. There is the epitome.
Oh, don't blame it on me,
Yeah,
Jim.
blaming it all on you.
No.
Did you make money out of it?
No.
Oh God, you're busy, aren't
You
you?
can't say that.
Well, we make a living, but we don't make as good a living as a painter and decorator would have made.
Yeah.
They'd have been fully right.
Yeah.
And people don't
If
understand.
we'd have been painter and decorators for 20 years, we'd have made a lot more money.
And people still
You must have got ripped off.
We did, yeah.
You've had a lot less
So
fun.
what? Yeah, but
A lot less
That's the
fun.
nature of the music business. You get
so did
ripped off in the
Amadeus
story.
Mozart, but like, you know, who would you rather listen to, Amadeus Mozart or Splitting Abound? So, you know.
Not a lot in it, Jim. A little bit, you know, a little bit. Yeah, I could say that, Jim, couldn't I?
Well, you are a bit...
A lot of people think, Jim, what you have a
He's
number...
nicking it, isn't he? Oh, he's a little bit...
Oh, sorry, I butted in there, didn't I?
Oh,
Yeah,
you
but
are.
a number one hit record, everyone thinks you're fucking rich or something. I'll tell you what I got at a number one hit record, 240 quid, Jim.
There you are.
That ain't a lot.
Now that's live on Radio 1.
Would you repeat
Yeah.
£240 is what he got paid for number one. Now Oasis, they get an Alan Shearer, free, and a Rolls Royce to take you back home after getting Alan in the
And it
dock.
sold 350,000 copies.
It's a lot.
And that is his manager, I think, speaking at the moment.
That's my drummer, Jim. But you know what drummers are like.
I take no shit from the artist.
Where did you find him? Lincoln or somewhere?
No, Hastings, mate, even worse.
Hastings, Lincoln, very
Well, not a
similar.
lot in it, Jimmy.
Not a lot in it, really.
Anyone go shut up?
Slough, you know, what are we talking about here?
Oh, I don't know, really. Only
Right,
come to
we're
say
going to ask
hello.
you some
and
very
that,
tedious
sorry.
questions. Okay, this is the big question. Have any of you got any regrets?
Well, I won't be British doing this shit up for a minute.
Oh,
Should have taken better care of me taste.
That wasn't me speaking.
What doesn't mean just tell you what your mate can do for you.
How can you have it? How can you...
No, I mean, the whole point of life is about all the bullshit that comes in the way. You think, oh, fucking, why me? Why do I get all this? Why is it this me? But that's the whole point of life. Those things are put there for you to get over and understand and work it out. That's what life's about.
Quite important
That's why we're
question,
here.
yeah.
We have no regrets. We wouldn't be here if we had regrets.
What's going on then?
I don't have a chip on my shoulder. I'm not bitter about anything.
It's a film.
I get very bitter if, like, you know, I have a bet on something in the free third and it gets beat. I get really bitter.
No, didn't you split up and then get back together again? Or have you always been together?
We stopped playing because there were too many people,
became a-
like Jimmy said earlier about trying to make us pop punks and this and that, and too many people were trying to make us their own thing.
He's lying. He actually got into very much into Balsawood and making loads of stuff. No, I don't.
So why did you stop and start going?
It stopped because it got completely out of control with the way we were being portrayed as, like, you know, this heavy, oi type Nazi madness. You know, what on earth is going on there? This is the end of the day, isn't it? Stop. This is just, what was all this about? I think if there was ever regret, we didn't stop it in time, do you understand? We didn't stop in time, but there again, how can that be a regret? Because we're here now, and we've been able to show people who we were for real rather than through newsprint.
What did you do at the time when you were stopped?
Only 20 minutes away.
No,
all right. It was only 4 years. It's just a question. And the rest?
That's broken. Of a university course.
I did some brain surgery in Japan for a week.
Can you think of any like really outstanding fans that you have?
Fee, that worked for us. She's the most outstanding fan of all time. She actually made Three Colours Red. If she had given them the right drugs, they wouldn't be where they are now. That's what rock and roll's all about, darling. I'm serious now. Ask Oasis. This is Radio 1. No, they own them.
Wouldn't let support them because we'd blow them off.
Brilliant.
Actually, I buy my drugs off Liam.
No, that makes it.
That was Dave Parsons speaking.
I buy my drugs off Liam. Who doesn't?
Yeah, mate. It's nice to see you again, my son.
Nice to see you. How are you, right?
It's 70 gigs tonight. Sham gigs.
See, there you are. This is 70. Can you ask for
70?
70 Sham gigs?
Now we're there in the old days when I used to get beat up because I was at punk. It's like what he says. All them fascists used to go and all the punks used to get beat up.
So what was the point?
And all the punks used to go home, you know. All the punks used to stand at the back.
Nice to see.
But now it's nice to see.
Cry my fucking eyes out.
It's nice to see kids are united.
How would you feel? Have you ever seen a fascist fucking holding a knife to your fucking neck? Have you ever had a fascist stick a gun to your fucking head? I have, in Alabama and fucking Georgia.
Have you?
Yeah, I fucking have. And luckily, 2 punks kicked the shit out of the guy.
Your age.
We know what a land
I'm 52 this year, and I'm still punking rocky. I like
I
Sham.
better get my tape recorder going. I want to speak to a 52-year-old punk. Who are you and how old are you?
51.
You're 51 years old.
Yeah.
And your name is?
Jono.
Jono.
Yeah.
And are you a top punk?
I've been a punk 20 years.
Have you ever been the Observer before?
I followed these in the early days, like what he says. You couldn't get at the front. I've had my head kicked in. I've had my jaw bust, going to Sham gigs. Because I believe in punk.
Why do you keep doing it then?
Because I don't know, it's there. My wife got killed in '66. I was an Hell's Angel. I've been following music since '69. I was a hip in the '60s. Then I met this guy called, is it Captain Sensible? I met him and I went to see the Pistols with him when Matlock was playing them. And this guy mentioned a band called Sham 69. Go see them. But I never used to go at the front, you mean? It was frightening, wasn't it?
But if you could see, he's got a tattoo over his head. He looks like the guy in Moby Dick. Look at the guy with the tattoos in Moby Dick.
A nice shag stick.
I don't know, I'm not that listening.
He's covered in tattoos. He's covered in tattoos all over his head. He's got earrings coming out of his eyeballs. He's got earrings and studs all coming out of his ears. He looks absolutely incredible. So don't get this individual idea that this 51-year-old train spotter standing around going.
Yeah, but how many 51-year-old punks you meet today?
Not many, I have to say. Why do you keep doing it then?
I enjoy the music. They're singing about what's happening to the country. They're singing what's going to be the singing about
Clinton listens to. He listens to the Rolling Stones, doesn't he? Right. So, if anybody at home's taking the piss out of this 51-year-old and you're listening to the Rolling Stones, you're sad.
That was me that sort of thing.
Yeah, but people says, why do you keep going on? Because I believe in punk. I think punk is not a movement. Punk is the way you are. Like somebody said to me downstairs, "Where's your Mohican? Where's your bondage trousers?" I said, "You don't have to wear a uniform to be a punk, do you?"
That was the whole point. It's an attitude.
Punk's an attitude. And it's people like me, people like Jimmy, Captain Sensible, Vanian, keep me going. But I must have kept you going, don't I, Jimmy?
Yeah.
You don't see many 51-year-old...
He paid my electric bill last week. He said to me, "I've done 70 gigs, how much is that?" I said, "It's an electric bill."
Do you have to get your electric bill paid? Not in your bank.
What's this interview for, anyway?
Radio 1.
So you met... I interviewed him at Squeeze. You know the singer Squeeze? What's his name? I was interviewed on Channel 4. So I met the oldest punk, and he's got full of tattoos, right? And all the housewives are listening to this. And I'm walking down the street.
Do you reckon you are the oldest punk in the world?
No, there's one in Canada, 70.
We've got a 72-year-old for ATV. We've got a 72-year-old called Raymond.
Actually,
you know Raymond? Yeah, he's 70, isn't he?
What about my nan? What about my nan?
Yeah, but that don't count. Family don't count.
She's on the last Sham 69 album, Soapy Water and Mr. Marmalade, on the front cover. 89 years old. She has to go down. I'm sorry. She has to go down as the oldest punk rocker in town, because she has actually been in paid adverts in the NME with leather jackets on, enjoying herself.
She's only 89. What about Charlie Harper?
Charlie Harper.
Charlie Harper's a year. Charlie Harper's a year older than me, and it's nice to see the subs still doing it. Right, people said to me, "Punk's dead." How many punks have been here today? You've been here all day?
No, just in 6.
You've been sick. I tell you something.
I think that's really what should have been said. She's only seen 6 people. She must have been sick.
Why bands are like this, right, are getting money? No money at all, and no Oasis getting loads of money. Why is that?
Why?
Why this band getting loads of money? How long Sham have been going?
But we don't want loads of... What would we do with loads of money? Either loads more drugs, or just, I know what we do with loads more money. I know what we do with loads more money. What, yeah, you can have it, Mark. You know, it's like, what's really funny to us tonight is X-ray specs are out there tonight. They're getting $5 grand for the gig. Right?
$5 grand?
That's a bloody... Right? Sham's getting $2 grand for the gig.
I don't know about that.
Sham's on the second stage. X-ray specs are on the main stage. But polystyrene, the main component of the band, is not even in it. So work that out. We've sold more records than all those bands put together, but we enjoy where we are because it's the underdog again, isn't it? We love being the underdog. I'd always love being underdog, don't you?
I like Sham. I like Sham, but my favourite punk band, I've seen the Sham 7 times. I've seen the Damn 223 times.
Jeez. So they go into the record books with 223 there.
No.
Sham on 7.
No.
Still have, I'll bring you some live reports.
Charlie Harper, UK subs Charlie Harper, 301 times.
Any advance on 301?
Hey, Jimmy, I've seen this. I used to go to your I never used to go to gigs in the early days. Remember, I got beat up once at the Sham gig at Leicester. Remember the Leicester one?
Leicester.
I got beat up badly in hospital.
It's a bit like Waterloo, Leicester was.
And I went to a Sham gig in London with a broken arm.
Yeah.
Sham's last stand.
Red Cross were there.
No, I broke my arm at a gig, and I went to the next gig. I'm never going to let these fascist skinheads beat me. If I like Sham 69, I'm going to go. If I get beat up again, I'm still going to go.
Well, give her a cuddle, give her a kiss, go on. You're getting very close there. I thought we were there for a second. We're going to go. Give us a radio.
One for the camera.
What you think?